We're in Armenia, in the capital city of Yerevan, and just came out of the national cathedral known as St. Gregory the Illuminator. It's named after him appropriately because he's the one who introduced Christianity to this country in the year 301 AD to King Tiridates III, and ever since then this has been a Christian nation. It is the first Christian nation in the world, and even today 98% of those who live here practice Christianity. What a beautiful service, and what a beautiful country. We're located in the Caucasus Mountains between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. Below us is Iran and Iraq. Above us is Georgia. Beside us, Azerbaijan. Further up north is Russia. And of course, we're in the shadow of Mount Ararat. This area is known as the Ararat region, and this is the diocese of Ararat. Ararat is the historical site of the landing of Noah's Ark. Much culture and much history abides here. We're looking forward to our time here today and also later this week in Georgia and Azerbaijan. We're in the art market, in the center artisans market here in Yerevan, in Armenia. This goes on forever, and all these are the artists showing their works. This is Yerevan in Armenia, and behind us here, looking over to Turkey, is Mount Ararat. We're inside the amazing museum of Armenian folk history here in Yerevan, learning about the arts and crafts of the Armenians through the centuries. In a building that was built in 1930, a very stately building, but these artifacts are absolutely amazing from throughout the various epochs of Armenians' culture, rich culture. Also in the shadow of Ararat, we explore the Temple of Garni, built by King Tiridates I in the 1st century AD to the sun god. Later in the 4th century, this was converted into the royal palace, or a summer palace for the queen. We then made our way to the Gekard Medieval Monastery in the Kochak province of Armenia, now a World Heritage UNESCO site. Built around the year 1215, carved literally out of the adjacent mountain and surrounded by cliffs. We learned more about it in both the Russian and the English languages by our wonderful docent. Lake 7 in Armenia. We're on top of the hill with some of the older monasteries in the country that date back to 874 AD. delightful evening of cultural music and delicious food, we journeyed 30 kilometers south of Yerevan to the Khor Virap Monastery, a famous pilgrimage site at the foot of Mount Ararat. You can even see the boundary road to Turkey right in the foreground as well. The monastery is on a hill close to the Arax River, overlooking pastures and stork nests and vineyards around it. It was here that the pagan king Tiridates III imprisoned Saint Gregory the Illuminator. He was placed in a well for 12 years and fed secretly by Christian sisters. It was the king who later was cured by madness and that declared Saint Gregory to be the leader of the Christian church here. And so most of the country became a Christian country at that point in time, declaring the church to be the Armenian Apostolic Church. You can walk through this door, take a few steps to the left, and see the entrance to the well into which Gregory was placed by Tiridates III. And now above that site, there's a beautiful picture or an icon of St. Gregory the Illuminator. This church and monastery are built here in his honor over the site where he was imprisoned. It's a holy site today, visited by faithful Armenians and those from the Caucasus region as well. Like all ancient countries, Armenia has a fascinating story of origins. According to Bible lore, Armenians are the descendants of Hake, great-grandson of Noah, whose ark grounded on Mount Ararat after the flood. In recognition of their legendary ancestry, Armenians have since referred to their country as Hayastan, land of the Hake tribe. Greek records first mention Armenians in the 6th century BC as a tribe living in the land of Lake Van. The Armenian highlands north of the Fertile Crescent had long been inhabited, and historians believe that local advances in mining, chemical, and metallurgical technologies were major contributing factors to early civilizations. With invasion routes open in 4 directions, the early Armenian kings fought intermittent wars against Persia and other Mediterranean powers. Greek and Roman cultures mixed with Persian angel worship and Zoroastrianism as well. In the 1st century BC, the borders of Armenia reached their zenith under Tigranes II, whose victories over the Persian Seleucids gave him land from modern Lebanon and Syria all the way to Azerbaijan. And here we are in Karki, Azerbaijan, overlooking the valley below, on our way to Norovank, a 13th century Armenian monastery located about 125 kilometers from Yerevan in a narrow gorge made by the Armagu River. This terrain is quite breathtaking.
It's again the same beautiful stone. And this spot always symbolizes Earth, the world where we live. Sometimes we do mistakes, guilty things, because we are human beings. And the top symbolizes heaven, paradise. The earth is connected with the heaven through the cross. The connection between these two far words is a cross. It connects the earth with the heaven. And for Christians, the cross is the only path, the only road which goes to the heaven. And only in Armenia you can see crosses like this, with these ends, with this ornament. Because in general, everywhere it's a line and that's it. But this is a blossomed cross. We call it blossomed cross because we are very hopeful that we will be blossomed again in heaven.
From Norovank, we made a very short trek to the Irini 1 cave archaeological site of the world's oldest extant winery dating back to 4000 BC, and Matunadaran, Armenia's ancient manuscript library with hundreds of thousands of ancient manuscripts and also Hebrew and Greek texts. wonderful time in Armenia would come to an end. We had just one night left to enjoy the food, culture, and bustling streets of Yerevan's more progressive side with a note to self. Let's come back someday.